I will call this business meeting to order. I want to thank everyone for coming. We're here to consider 2 nominations and 19 General Services Administration resolutions. We'll be voting at roughly 10:20 to accommodate member schedules, but before we vote, we'll debate and discuss the matters before us. The majority will have 10 minutes to speak, beginning with my opening statement. The minority will have 10 minutes to speak, beginning with the ranking member's opening statement. So I'd ask that the clock please be started on the majority time, and I'll make a few brief comments, then reserve the balance of the majority's time to make additional comments after the minority's time has expired. The ranking member may recognize those members of the minority wishing to speak during the minority's time. After each side has used its time, we'll move to votes as soon as a quorum is present. After completion of the votes, I'd be happy to recognize every member who still wishes to speak. Today we're going to consider the nomination of Kathleen Hartnett White to be a member of the Council on Environmental Quality, CEQ. President Trump intends to designate Ms. White as chair of CEQ upon her confirmation by the Senate. Ms. White's experience in environmental matters is broad. Neil Bradley, the Senior Vice President and Chief Policy Officer of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, wrote this about Ms. White is that she is well-suited to serving as chair of the CEQ and has, quote, wide-ranging experience relevant to the position. I ask unanimous consent to enter his entire letter into the record without objection. If confirmed, Ms. White will bring her extensive experience to the job at CEQ, and I urge my colleagues to vote yes on her nomination. We will also consider the nomination of Andrew Wheeler to be Deputy Administrator of the Environmental Protection Agency. Over 25 years working in the environmental field, Mr. Wheeler has proven himself to be a well-qualified, experienced, and dedicated public servant. 12 of those years he spent working at this committee as this committee's Clean Air Subcommittee Staff Director and Republican Staff Director and Chief Counsel. We know what an invaluable contribution Mr. Wheeler will make to the protection of America's public health and safety as Deputy Administrator of the EPA. I urge my colleagues to vote on his nomination in a positive way as well. We'll also consider 19 resolutions to approve prospectuses providing for General Services Administration leases. The leases will provide office space for the Pension Benefit Guarantee Corporation, the Department of Defense, the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency for International Development, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the Internal Revenue Service, Customs and Border Protection, the Department of State, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, National Institutes of Health, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and 8 Department of Veterans Affairs locations. I'd like to reserve the balance of my time at this point and turn to ranking member for his statement and for him to recognize members of the minority as he sees fit.
Thanks.